الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أفضل الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واركعوا مع الراكعين صدق الله مولانا العظيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم وآله وبارك وسلم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا نور الله. All praise, glory and honor belongs to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Endless peace, blessings, salutations upon our Master and Liege Lord Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, upon all His beloved, all His Ahlul Bayt, His esteemed family, pure wives, and the noble Sahaba Kiram, His companions. May Allah Azza wa Jal raise ranks of all the awliya, ulama, shuhada of this ummah, and may He give us continued tawfiq to frequent His house, to remember Him Azza wa Jal, and to send salawat upon His beloved Habib alayhi salatu wassalam. Alhamdulillah, we are in the month of Sha'ban al-Mu'azzam, blessed days, coming up to the noble month of Ramadan al-Kareem once again, inshallah. And there are many great blessings in these months. As we know, the month of Rajab, the month of Allah has passed. We are in the month of Sha'ban, the month of Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam. And then the month of Ramadan, which is the gift for us, the ummah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. And it has always traditionally been common amongst the Muslims that before Ramadan Sharif or even during Ramadan Sharif to give the zakat of their wealth and to give sadaqah, to give charity increasingly towards Ramadan Sharif. And there are many verses in Noble Quran stressing the importance of this obligation upon the ummah. And the verse which I have quoted from Surah Baqarah, wherein Allah Azza wa Jal mentions وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ कि नमाज अदा करो, ज़कात भी दो और रुकू करो उनके साथ जो रुकू करते हैं. Establish the prayer, give the charity, the zakat, and bow with those who bow. इससे मुराद यह है कि नमाज की फर्जियत, ज़कात की फर्जियत और नमाज जमात के साथ पढ़ने का वजूद, उसका वाजिब होना. What is established from this verse is that to pray salah and to give zakat is farz. It is compulsory duty because it's clearly mentioned. Whereas to pray salah in jamaat, warka'u ma'ar raki'in, bow with those who bow, ruku karo unke साथ जो रुकू करते हैं, ये वाजिब हुक्म है. पहले मैं एक बात आपको बताता हूँ कि फ़र्ज और वाजिब में फ़र्क क्या होता है. फ़र्ज दलील क़तई से साबित होता है, क्लियर प्रूफ फॉर फ़र्ज ड्यूटी, और उसका जो इनकार करता है वो काफिर, और जो नहीं करता वो अमल सिर्फ नहीं करता लेकिन उसको मानता है कि ये फ़र्ज है लेकिन करता नहीं, तो फिर वो गुनाहगार है, कबीरा गुनाह. A person who misses a farz out of laziness, he commits a major wrong action. A person who says you don't even have to do a farz, he becomes a kafir. Then the wajib is an unclear order. ये दलील ज़न्नी से साबित है. वाजिब ज़न से, इस्तिंबात से. वो जो उलमाए मुज्तहिदीन हैं, the expert उलमा, वो इस आयत पर गौर व फिक्र करते हैं, इन हदीस पर गौर व फिक्र करते हैं और इनसे वजूब का हुक्म फिर साबित करते हैं. The wajib is not clear. So the one who denies a wajib, he can do so if he is following one of the mujtahid imams, one of the 4 imams as we mentioned last week. But the one who misses a wajib out of laziness, he gets a saghira gunah. उसको सगीरा बना मिलता है जो वाजिब का तर्क करता है। तो बहरहाल ज़कात का देना फ़र्ज है, और जो शख्स कहता है कि ज़कात फ़र्ज नहीं वो काफिर है। The one who denies the farziyat of zakat, he is a kafir. In the time of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, a group of people departed from their iman. They left the fold of Islam. They refused to give zakat. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu declared jihad against these people. He declared jihad. And Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu went to Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radhiyallahu anhu and he said, O Siddiq, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, I shall continue to fight the people until they say La ilaha illallah and believe the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam only said, I shall continue to struggle and fight with the people until they believe this. Then how is it that you are declaring jihad on people who are reading the kalima? They are still reading kalima. How come you are declaring jihad against them? And Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radhiyallahu anhu stated, he said, even if those people were to refuse a small rope which they would have given in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but now they are going to refuse this, even if they do this, then I shall declare jihad against them. And then Sayyidina Farooq Azam radhiyallahu anhu said that I saw then that Allah Azza wa Jal had expanded the chest, the blessed chest of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radhiyallahu anhu, and he had the right, correct understanding, and then I could see. What the ulama explained from this is that Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radhiyallahu anhu originally thought that them people are still Muslim and they are just not giving zakat. But he did not know that them people were actually denying the obligation of zakat. So then, when he realized that them people were saying we don't even have to give it, so they denied a clear farz of Allah Azza wa Jal, therefore they had become kafir, murtad, they had lost their iman. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu was justified in collecting zakat from them and in waging jihad against them. So this is a very great obligation. Again, in another hadith sharif, another famous riwayah in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he sent Sayyidina Muaz bin Jabal radhiyallahu anhu to Yemen, he told Sayyidina Muaz, take zakat from the people. Collect the zakat from the people, as this is an obligation from Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is why he commanded Sayyidina Muaz and the other companions as well, when they were sent out to the different provinces, it was a duty. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions salat and zakat in 32 places together. Namaz और zakat का हुक्म इकट्ठे कुरान करीम में इनका जिक्र इकट्ठे 32 मर्तबा आता है। नमाज कायम करो और ज़कात दो, नमाज कायम करो और ज़कात दो। ज़कात की फर्जियत बहुत अहम है। So there are many hadith sharifs on the benefits and blessings of zakat. Most notably, we know that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that the Muslim ummah is like a body. The example of the Muslim ummah is like a body in terms of mercy, in terms of brotherhood, in terms of friendship towards one another and affection towards one another. It is the example of a body. If one part of the body is in pain, then the whole body feels the fever and the pain and the illness. And this is the example of the Muslimun. And when we see the ummah suffering in various places in the world, then this is supposed to be the fikr of every single Muslim, each and every one individual one of us. Because Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam again in another hadith sharif mentioned that none of you truly believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. And if we see brothers and sisters in other countries being oppressed, going through persecution, not having enough means even for Ramadan Sharif, even throughout the rest of the year, then it is a duty upon us to feel that fikr and to feel that pain for them. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam ne सही रिवायात में इरशाद फरमाया था कि जो मुसलमान हैं, जो उम्मत मुस्लिमा है, उसकी मिसाल है एक जिस्म का, एक जिस्म की मिसाल। रहमत में, शफकत में और दोस्ती में, अखुवत में एक जिस्म की मिसाल है पूरी उम्मत मुस्लिमा की। अगर एक उज़्व में दर्द हो, बीमारी हो, तो पूरे जिस्म में वो बुखार जो होता है, वो बीमारी होती है, वो फैलती है और पूरा जिस्म उसको महसूस करता है। ऐसी फिक्र होनी चाहिए मुसलमानों को। और ये भी इरशाद फरमाया कि तुम लोग कामिल ईमान तक नहीं पहुंचेंगे जब तक अपने मुसलमान भाई के लिए उस चीज को पसंद नहीं करेंगे जो खुद के लिए पसंद करते हैं। So the Prophet of Allah alayhi salatu wassalam has made it clear and has also told us that zakat and sadaqah does not decrease your wealth. zakat और सदक़े से माल में कमी नहीं होती। नबी अलैहि सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की हदीस पाक है। बाज़ लोग इस यानी गलत फहमी में पड़ जाते हैं कि वो समझते हैं कि अगर मैं माल खर्च करूंगा तो कम हो जाएगा, लेकिन ये गलत फहमी है। नबी अलैहिस्सलाम ने इरशाद फरमाया कि जो ज़कात अल्लाह की राह में सदका खैरात देता है, अल्लाह ताला उसको ज़्यादा अता फरमाता है। Allah Azza wa Jalla gives him more blessings in his wealth. Just like if there is a tree and it has some of the branches which are defective and they are causing a disease in the tree, they will cause the tree to die. So what will a person do? You will cut off those branches. In the same way with your wealth, there is a certain wealth in there which will damage all of your wealth and make that wealth a means of punishment and azab for you on the day of judgment. So when you cut off the harmful part of the wealth, you give that wealth to the poor, to the fuqara, because that is their haq. वो उनका हक बनता है कि अपनी माल से उनको ज़कात दे दो. So when you give the zakat, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam also mentioned that give zakat of your wealth, because the zakat, the sadaqah, the charity is a means of purifying your wealth and you will be purified by it. तो zakat दो, अल्लाह की राह में zakat का माल देना है। नबी अलैहि सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने इरशाद फरमाया, क्योंकि उस zakat से तुम्हारा माल पाकीज़ा हो जाएगा और तुम भी पाक हो जाओगे। So in order to purify your wealth, you have to give the zakat in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the hikmah behind this, Allahu Akbar, if the entire Muslim Ummah gave the zakat, which is the haqq, which is the true obligation, then there would be no poverty and no problems in the Ummah, in the world today. It would be reduced to a much greater extent. At least everyone would have the necessary food and clothes and basic necessities of life to get them by. So what did Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam tell us about the punishment of not giving zakat? Allahu Akbar, that the wealth of that rich person who does not give that wealth in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, that wealth will turn into fire and burn that person on the day of rising. The one who does not give zakat, he will enter Jahannam, it will become hellfire for him. And the unpaid wealth shall appear as a great bold snake, as a great serpent on the day of rising, and shall continue to sting that person and bite him and punish him until Allah Azza wa Jal relieves him of this pain. Allahu Akbar. So the punishment of not giving zakat is a very great punishment and grave consequences for not giving wealth in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. So many benefits on the positive of giving in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. It decreases stinginess. It removes stinginess and produces generosity in one's heart. It produces generosity and favor in one's heart and brings the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal to oneself. And giving in the way of Allah also purifies your wealth, takes away your problems, and it brings the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the beginning of His Holy Quran that ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, this is the book in which there is no doubt. هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, the guidance for the ones who have taqwa, the pious people. هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. That who are the muttaqeen? परहेज़गार मुत्तकी लोग कौन हैं? वो जो गैब पर ईमान लाते हैं और नमाज कायम करते हैं और हमारी दी हुई रिस्क उससे वो अल्लाह की राह में खर्च करते हैं. तो अल्लाह की राह में खर्च करना तकवा और परहेज़गारी की सिफत है. So it is a sign of being muttaqi and परहेज़गार and pious to give in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. But what we also know is that this month, a month of great blessings, Sha'ban al-Mu'azzam, we are due to approach on a very blessed night, the night of this Sha'ban, 15th of Sha'ban. And this night will occur on the Tuesday night. And inshallah Azza wa Jal, there shall be a program in the masjid also after Salatul Isha. And there shall also be ihtimam for Sihri as well, for those brothers and those elders who wish to open fast, to keep the fast on the following day. On the night of Sha'ban, the 15th, which is on Tuesday night, and the Roza, the fast will be on the Wednesday. Sayyidina Mushkil Kusha, Mawla Ali Sharif Khuda Radiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, he mentions in a riwayah in Sunan Ibn Majah Sharif that Nabi alayhi salatu was salam commanded that a person stays in worship of Allah Azza wa Jal during the night of Nisf Sha'ban, and that he keeps the fast on the following day. Why? Because on this night, on the 15th of Sha'ban, Allah Azza wa Jal, He descends and He says, is there anyone to do dua so that I may accept it? Is there anyone to seek my forgiveness so that I may forgive him? Is there anyone in such and such a problem so that I may relieve his problem? Is there so and so person? Is there such and such person? Until he continues like this, until the sun rises, until the morning. So many great blessings on this night. Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she mentions that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam stated that the angel Jibreel alayhi salam came to me and said, he congratulated me and stated that this is the night of 15 Sha'ban. This is the night of 15 Sha'ban, wherein Allah Azza wa Jal forgives more slaves, more servants than the amount of hair on the sheep of Bani Kalb. Now the tribe of Bani Kalb had many sheep, and this is a figure of speech that Allah Azza wa Jal shall forgive more people than the amount of hair on the sheep of Bani Kalb. So then Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam goes on to mention in the hadith that Allah Azza wa Jal shall forgive everyone except one who associates partners with Allah, the mushrik, the one who associates partners with Allah Azza wa Jal, and except for the one who has enmity, hatred and malice towards other Muslims. He has hatred towards other Muslims. Allah Azza wa Jal will not look upon him mercifully. The one who breaks ties, breaks relations with his relatives, Allah Azza wa Jal shall not look upon him mercifully. The one whose clothing, whose tahban is lowered below his ankles due to pride. Due to pride. If it's not due to pride, this is not haram. It is makruh tanzihi, it is disliked. However, it is not haram for his tahban to go below his ankles. It is haram when done with the intention of pride. When done with the intention of pride, Allah Azza wa Jalla will not look upon him mercifully. Which other person? The one who is disobedient to his parents. The one who disobeys his parents. Allah Azza wa Jalla shall not look to him mercifully. And the one who is an alcoholic. And we know Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam has cursed the one who drinks wine, the one who serves wine, the one who presses the grapes, the one who buys it, the one who sells it. In fact, everyone who has any association in the business of buying, selling, drinking, serving alcohol, he is cursed by the words of Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has done this. Allahu Akbar. And in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, he adds another person that the murderer as well shall not be looked upon mercifully during the night of Shab-e-Bara'at. Again, in another riwayah it is mentioned that Allah Azza wa Jal shall forgive His servants on this night, but He shall not forgive the disbelievers, the kuffar, and those who have enmity towards one another. So the ulama state, we are going to think, look at all these things that I have mentioned, all these enormities. Where does this leave us? Allahu Akbar. But we must not despair of the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. La taqnatu min rahmatillah. Do not despair of the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. If a person happens to be the most worst of human beings, even still, the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal will exceed his wrong deeds. The mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal is more than any of the wrong deeds of anyone. So Allah Azza wa Jal is commanding us, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is commanding us to perform tawbah in the bargah of Allah Azza wa Jal. To turn to Allah with a pure heart, to clear any mu'amalat, any differences we have with relatives, with friends, to clear these things before Shab-e-Bara'at. To clear these things. Imam Ahl Sunnah, Mujaddid al-Din al-Millah, Imam Ahmad Rida Khan, rahimahullah ta'ala, wrote a letter about Shab-e-Bara'at. And briefly, I would just like to mention in there, he mentions the Hadith Sharif, التائب من الذنب كمن لا ذنب له. The one who seeks tawbah, who does tawbah from his gунاह, he is as if he has not got any gунاह. वो शख्स जो गुनाह से तौबा करता है, गोया कि वो शख्स उसके पास गुनाह है ही नहीं. नबी अलैहिस्सलाम की हदीस है. So Imam Ahl Sunnah encourages the Muslims to forgive one another, to have mercy upon one another, and to make up, to join the relations with one another before Shab-e-Bara'at comes, so that Allah Azza wa Jal, we can be worthy recipients of His mercy and of His blessings. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us all the tawfiq to prepare for these blessed nights and to prepare for Ramadan Sharif. And this night on Tuesday is a great opportunity. A person can also visit the graveyard. Visiting graveyard is also sunnah of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Maji Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha, one last riwayah I would like to finish with. She mentioned that on one night, on the night of Shab-e-Bara'at, I found Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam in Jannatul Baqi. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Oh Aisha, did you think that Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam deprived you of your right?" And then she said, "No, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I thought that maybe you have gone to visit one of your other blessed wives." Then Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned that this is the night of Bara'at, Shab-e-Bara'at. Allah Azza wa Jal forgives more people than the amount of hair on the sheep of Bani Kalb. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was in graveyard praying on the night of Shab-e-Bara'at. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us tawfiq to worship in His way, to give our zakat, to pray our salat, and to pass on the message to others. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ.